All right, welcome back. Let's get into it. Yvonne Jegede, ex-husband, Malice in silent treatment. What do you guys think about silent treatment? Before we get into this video, what do you guys think about silent treatment, keeping malice, maybe more so like keeping malice? Because malice can mean so many things. Malice, actually, dictionary meaning means like somebody intentionally attempting to hurt you. I think keeping malice is a little bit of a lighter weight, but at an emotional level can create the same effect. Emotional and mental level can create the same effect. It destroys marriages. Keeping malice is. Now, keeping malice is something that I learned a long time ago. Not how to, but the pain of it. I don't like people that keep malice. I feel like I've from high school days, okay, my early high school days. I'm talking about when I was in GSS2, GSS3. What year is that in grade numbers? Grade what? What's GSS2 and 3? 7. Okay, so 8th grade, ninth grade, sort of. I had an experience with a friend back then who kept, and it was a young man. It's a full-blown grown man now, but at that time, young boy, we were children. But he kept malice, and I didn't understand it. It was very weird to me because the way I was raised, keeping malice was. Listen, I don't want to front. There might be people in my own family that keep malice, okay, but in my own household where I was raised, it wasn't a thing. Like there's no such thing as people waking up and not talking to each other. We can have quarrels, we can have disagreements, even as children. But before dawn, before people wake up in the morning, it's in the past. People move on, and people, you know. Keeping malice is something that I noticed with that part. Like when I'm thinking about it, when I'm thinking about one particular person from my GSS2, GSS3 days, also was a church member. We went to the same church. Also was son of a very important person in our church. I remember it vividly, and it just didn't feel right. That okay, we had a disagreement, and you could go like a whole week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and just pretend you didn't see the person. I didn't understand it until, of course, when we get to studying relationship and stuff, we started to realize that it's in fact an epidemic. It's an epidemic in marriages. People go straight 2, 3, 4 months not talking. You thought I was gonna say weeks? Nope, months, right? So at first we covered a big story on Lola and Ola, the YouTube channel, on sexlessness. We found out 15 to 20% of marriages are in sexless marriages, right? And then eventually, so digging through that topic, like a lot of time, it's not even about the sex. They're not even talking. So it's something that we are working. Even a lot of my clients were walking through it. There is a method to the madness, but it's something that must stop. Your marriage cannot survive on such behavior, and especially if it's coming from the man. It cannot, because if a woman is keeping malice and it's the man who is trying to initiate conversations, that's still the haunting thing is still there, right? You have a man pursuing his wife and trying to get her to open up and be comfortable. We can still work with that because of the primitive thing, right? That the man pursues the woman. But when the man is the one who is notorious for keeping malice and shuts down and silent treatment, yes, somebody else is going to talk to his wife. Yeah, he's going to lose his wife, his family. It's just a matter of time if it's not nipped in the bud immediately. All right, it just doesn't make sense because you can't have a vacuum. Like it doesn't make any sense. Just even if you look at it logically, that time that you're not talking to your wife, you think she's just sitting around waiting for you, or you think the devil is sitting around waiting for you, seeing that big of a gap in your family, in your marriage. Like, come on. Like, come on. Well, she's a honorable woman. She should just do what she's supposed to do. Like, bro, you're delusional. Okay? This is the real world. This is a very competitive world, okay? And if she has any ounce of value in her, it's just a matter of time, okay? Because remember, what you don't really value, other people's, other people will see. All right. So at least the devil will see. Okay. But let me read some of your chats before I get into it. We'll talk about silent treatment and keeping malice in marriages. And Yvonne Jegede is gonna tell us a little bit more about her experience. And I think it was it stood out for me when she was talking about it. I believe she was okay. No, silent treatment is cancer. Life with Natu says. D-Love says silent treatment is emotional abuse. I think no, it is emotional abuse. Okay, just because you're not intentionally abusing the person does not mean you're not effectively abusing them. Right? A lot of people use it as a coping. It's a coping mental thing for them. They might need a wait time, and then it gets awkward, and it takes longer than they realize before they come back to it. Well, what about self-awareness? What about self-control? What about the fact that you are an adult? And after like 2-3 days, you should just check yourself and say, hey, I can't walk around not talking to my wife. If there's it's just a conversation, right? Well, some people hate rejection. Some people don't like rejection. So they don't want to be the first to approach the other person so they don't get like a snappy attitude. Well, that's called pain. Like anything that's worthwhile in life will comes with pain, right? Would you rather lose your whole family than go through that short period of pain, a difficult conversation? You're a full-blown adult, for crying out loud. So this is one of those few things that I tell you, I'm scolding people about this. Like, you cannot allow this to fester, to keep going. It needs to be taken care of, and in a permanent way, so you don't have to deal with that ever again, because it will eat up everything, like Natu said. Yep. So it's one thing to need space, but some people use it to show shege. It usually starts with space, and I can appreciate space, right? I can appreciate some space necessary in relationships. A little bit of space, back off of each other. If it's too toxic, if it's too tense, back off, so that people can breathe, so that the cloud can clear up, right? So you can have some clarity before you can address the issues again, right? But then some people get lost in the source of it, and they don't know how to come back from it because of the awkward energy, and some people use this to show you shege, and I know some people that actually intentionally use it to punish their spouse as well. I think silent treatment is a form of emotional manipulation and therefore toxic. Absolutely, it's toxic because it feels like. So I'm telling you, as a child, from a friend who is a friend, it felt toxic at the time. Like, I was a child, I wasn't supposed to worry about stuff like this. So how much more in a setting where there are adults that have responsibilities? They walk in and out of the house every day, and they have to deal with a person not talking to them. Not cool. It's not a cool thing to go through. It's not cool. But Abeno, welcome. How are you, sir? We need the rest of the story because we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. But I'm just gonna listen. We're not gonna be a judge. We're not judging. We're just gonna learn that keeping malice should not be tolerated. Okay, we're not going to judge anybody that's not talking tonight, but we're going to tell you that silent treatment will destroy and eat up your marriage alive, regardless of if you're right or wrong. It doesn't matter if you're right, and we're not your judge anyway. Silent treatment also shows lack of problem-solving skills. It's a display of immaturity. Absolutely. Something triggers the silent treatment. How about that? Sure, absolutely. Something triggers the silent treatment. We don't know what that is. Until we know what that is, silent treatment will eat up your marriage alive. We devoid the devil, and you eat it like that. Also for that notes. Anyway, I also think silent treatment comes from someone with the mentality that they can punish their spouse. Sometimes, like I said, a lot of times, sometimes, not all of them. Sometimes people are afraid of rejection. They don't want to be the first to approach the other person. Maybe they've experienced that you don't listen. Ladies, if they've experienced that you don't listen, You never listen when they tell you stuff, or they notice like it's a form of shutdown. Like, you know how they say some people flight or flight or what's the other thing, Jerry? Flight or fight, right? Some people is their way of flight. It's like they run away into their corner, right? And then it becomes very, very awkward. Yeah. Hello, Miss Uju. Good to see you. Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, so let's play this video. Let's see what she said, and then we'll take it from there.
What's that guy's name?
That guy.
Olakule Bounce. I bounce has got that face. Now, did you become more successful, and your success, did you strain your relationship, or what happened? For you to resonate with the thing hit you beam.
But why do you make you feel saying that particular story now the talk said resonate?
Another one day. See, this is the honest bunch. We're honest.
Yeah, of course, it's my marriage, but what do you make you just calculate and just marriage? What if saying I want a serious relationship where we nearly lead to marriage? What do you make you feel so?
By the way, I will stop and play and give my commentary. If you want to watch the full thing, you go watch it at Honest Bunch Podcast with Glitch Africa Studios. It's available everywhere on YouTube, okay? So I will be reacting. I'll be stopping it. If you want to watch the full thing, you go there. This is just our own channel, and it's a reaction. It's a reaction channel. Let's keep going.
But I feel that's what it is.
Yeah, bad person.
So what happened? Was it what I painted, or it was something different?
For me, finances money, paper has never been anything that has moved me in any way. But the problem, I think, what I resonated with was when we were friends. We were friends for over a decade. We're good. He was my guy.
Yeah.
My guy. You know, when I would also say, Kunle, there's some guy in Edu, he saw me, he toasted me. Guys, I don't know. He's like, okay. When you are going to go and see a branch, I'll go, we'll talk. Because I'm a lover girl, I like love where. So if I see person who don't like me, I go on, make I see how I will take, focus and stuff. So he was that friend. So we're so cool that I could say anything to him. You're crazy, you're mad, get sense, do this. He's 8 years older than me, but we're cool, my guy. But the moment we got married, if I don't say they're crazy, go say they disrespect them, I go say, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's a quick answer for you, Uncle Beno, right? We're gonna get into more of the story. So they were friends. She said it was the guy, my guy, right? They were for a decade or so. That's a long time, right? But dynamics will change once you sign on dotted lines, right? And if you're not prepared for how that changes, people get hit with a shock. Not just some, all of us. Okay, this is gonna happen to every single one of us. Cam D says, my husband is a silent treatment person. After some time, I realized he didn't want to say anything hurtful, so he prefers to remain silent. Well, that's not silent treatment, okay? Because there's a good chance that if you wait until the following day, if it's exactly the picture I'm seeing from your statement, the following day you want to go to bed, sleep over it, that's perfectly fine, okay? Even honestly, the whole full day, next day, you go to work, you come back and you say, babe, about what happened yesterday, people can come back and have a there's nothing wrong with that, right? But once you're going over 48 hours, there's a familiar spirit inside of that behavior. The devil has entered that situation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you do. The devil has entered that situation and is going to take advantage of it. It's called a crack in the wall. It's an opportunity for the enemies to come to. What's the enemies? You're your own worst enemy most of the time, okay? Just so you know. The enemies is going to come through that situation and devour whatever you guys are cooking in a very, very bad way. Okay? So again, the guy was already feeling disrespect, okay? So no man would jump from, we are guys, and they were joking around. They don't just jump. There's a lot of stuff that happened in between, right? So let's just put that out there real quick. Let's keep going.
Huh? It's the same thing. It's the same me. It's the same Shori Okbeni. It's the same Shori Okbe that I've always said for over 10 years. So it became a problem. It started restricting conversations and, stuff like that. So that's why I said, sometimes the guy would just flip and you'll be wondering.
But that was not enough for you to have
No,
ended
there
the
were many
relationship.
things. No. That one make me do like this, but no, that was not it.
So she said that was not it. She was experiencing that. That's something she resented, obviously. That's why she brought it up, right? So, can we call in? You could call in. I'll drop the link for anybody who wants to call in right now, so that we don't waste too much time. What time is it? What time did we start? Oh, we got some time. Yeah. Absolutely. I'll drop the link if you want to call in. All right. So it's she said that's not it. Okay, there's more to it. It's never really one thing. But that's something that affected her. The fact that this man, because when you look at if you watch this live premiere, if you go in the comment, you see a lot of people saying they don't want to be friends with their spouse. Like, you see, and the reality is that you do need that friendship. But like many other things, how people say love is not enough. If love is not enough, how can friendship not be enough? It cannot be enough now. But friendship is a very, very useful tool that you can fall back on when there's conflict, right? Because you like that person as your guy. That's a thing to leverage. It's not something you remove when you're going through crisis. When you're going through crisis, you might even, if you're a person who tends to, because this keeping Malice thing is a part of there's certain types of personality that exercises that option to just shut down and not talk to the other person. It's a certain type of personality. So if you need some space, let's say your wife is disrespectful to you and you need some space, a couple of days, maybe 2 days. You get back to, you have a conversation with your wife. You express yourself like an adult. I don't like this. Babe, remember I told you, I know that, but it's still like, if you're getting comfortable, 72 hours, you're going into a week, there's something about you that is very comfortable in that familiar toxic environment. Okay? It might not make logical sense, like it's not a tasty thing, but but if you think about the emotions of that, right? It's a very comfortable, familiar place for you. It's a pain you would rather experience than experience the pain of actually having what might be a difficult conversation. And it's not good. Like I said, I understand it, but it will eat up your marriage. That's all I'm saying. Let me bring Chidima, you did there? Chidima, I can hear you. Maybe you're far from the... Okay, she's muted now. Wait. You're muted, though. Or mute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I think I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. What's up?
Hi.
How are you?
Okay, good.
Good evening.
I'm good. Evening. Yes, so
You're hearing delay.
I think we should start.
Talk to me.
There is a delay, yes. There is a delay. Right, go ahead.
The connection is bad.
It's bad? Okay. Should I go back? Should I go out and come back?
The connection is bad. Yeah, the
Okay,
connection
let
is
me go
bad.
and
My
come
connection
back.
is not the best where I'm at too, hotel connections. Yeah, try to come back in again. Try to come back in again.
Okay, let me go out and come back in.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Let's play a little bit.
That was not even close to what ended it.
That's not close to what ended it.
Was it you or him?
It was me.
A woman, they always end relationships.
She says
It was
she's
me.
saying
I
it
packed
was
my
her.
bags and I left.
Okay, it was her that packed her bag and left. Let me see. True, that may not be silent. It could be needing space. Yes, if it's just a short period of time, that's healthy in so many ways. That can be healthy. Okubeno, silent treatment. It's not actually a bad technique. Whether way better than physical verbal abuse. The issue with that is that you're suggesting that physical and verbal abuse is somehow worse than emotional abuse. It's not. That's what that suggests. It's not. Abuse is abuse, and the person that gets to determine abuse is the person on the receiving end of it. I know that sounds unfair, because the person who is being accused of abuse should be able to define abuse. No, unfortunately, the person on the receiving end of it is the person who get to call it abuse. If you don't like him, you address him. Okay, you have a conversation with the person. What I'm doing, you feel abused? Can we talk about it? You can have a conversation around that. But it's the person who they receive the pain that gets to define what they and it's good for you in that way, because what would you rather do? That they don't tell you, and then eventually it's still the same issue, right? It becomes resentment that will still eat up your marriage. Right? So it's very important who gets to determine when it's not obvious physical abuse, right? Is the person on the receiving end that will tell you, I feel abused, right? They might not even use that same exact words, but you know that they find certain behavior on the receiving end, as person on the receiving end, they find it toxic. It's in your own best interest as a person to pay attention to that and not get stuck in the argument about the semantics of that, because they're feeling something that's obviously not palatable. And we should all, if you're talking about your romantic partner, you must pay attention to that for your own good. Let's see, is it better?
I hope so.
Let's hope it's better.
Is it?
What part of the world are you in that you don't have internet
Is it?
decent enough to talk to me in real time?
Is it
No,
better?
you're hearing
or-
delay still. You're hearing
I
delay
changed my
still.
Wi-Fi. I changed my internet from Wi-Fi
Yeah.
to my phone Wi-Fi.
Wait. No, it's skipping and out. It's like choppy.
I even changed my internet. I don't know. Maybe it's yours.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Try,
yours.
if you're using the phone, try to restart the phone too. It might be a lot going on the phone.
No, okay.
All of that is choppy. I'm just hearing. I know you're saying maybe, but be. All right.
Better now.
All right. Try it again. Try it again. Anyway, let's keep going. He can ignore someone for days. That's not healthy. Not healthy. Not healthy. Okay. So that it's a form of communication. It's a terrible form of communication. Silent treatment is that person is actually trying to get you to become their therapist, not intentionally, but again, now you have to read minds and wonder what's gonna. It's not good. I don't know in what shape or form or format is Uncle Bendo is going to make a case for silent treatment today, but it's not going to work. Silent treatment is a positive approach if a wife is a madam, I know it all, and madam my way or no way. Well, it's okay. So the silent treatment is if you leave her, let her right? You let her do her thing and then she'll come back. But the silent treatment is when you are not talking to your madam. That is abusive behavior. Okay, and especially you're calling it an approach. That's intentional, even worse. Okay, even worse. No, actually, I won't say it's worse. I think the one that's not intentional might be worse because they don't know they're doing something wrong. But either way, it's bad. We don't want to choose between intentional or not intentional. Either way, it's just a bad. You're not talking at all to the person. Etibinu, you're not talking for days. No. That's something that only children should be allowed to do 1 or 2 times before they get a little spanking. Pow. You talk. You use your words. Regardless of what the outcome is, you use your words so we can know what's going on with you. Get it? Let's keep going. And Kamdi said, but I don't let him. That's if a person allows you to not let them, that means they're talking to you. That means they're open, right? If you can keep it up, sure. Okay. But I'm telling you right now, for the most part, it's not sustainable when a woman has to pursue her husband over and over to get him to talk after days. It's something it's a bad idea. Let's try this again though, Chidima. I know you wanted to get something off your chest. Ha, Chidima. And I have Uncle Beno here now with me. Chidima, this thing no
Hear
work.
me now?
Uncle Beno, I can hear.
MOP.
Try again.
It
MOP.
must be your internet.
MOP, the problem is
You
from
think
your
so?
end, not
Okay.
Chidima.
Uncle Beno, can you hear her? I can hear her a little bit now.
I can hear her very well. I think the problem is from your end.
Okay.
She's
Oh,
actually-
okay. So it's my internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
your internet.
because Uncle Beno is coming off to me that way too. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
can
Unfortunately,
hear him very clearly. I
You
can
can
hear
hear
you
him
clearly.
clearly. Let me try this. Let's
Yes.
try this. Let's try this. Is it better? Can you hear me?
Yes,
We
I
can
can
hear
hear
you
you.
clearly.
Okay, go ahead. I can hear you now. I'll turn off my camera so that we can save some bandwidth.
Oh, I
Okay.
was
So who
gonna
goes
come in
first?
here, talk and run away before Chidima come back. Oh.
You
So who
go.
goes first?
You go first, but one person at a time. Mute your mic. Ah,
What's
yeah,
going on?
it's me. It's definitely me. But go ahead. Tell me. Talk to me.
Okay. So I was trying to react to what Camdi was typing in the chat and Uncle Ben, because it seems like we are having slightly different definitions of silent treatment. And I think that's causing a little bit of confusion. So what Camdi typed at first is that her husband does silent treatment rather than say hurtful things. And you're right in saying that is not silent treatment. That's actually a form of conflict resolution, if you ask me, a healthy and safe form of conflict resolution. But he doesn't want to say hurtful things. It sounds like when he's calmed down, he still comes back to address the issues. So he's still talking about it. Silent treatment, from what Brother Ben is saying, is trying to maybe teach somebody who is a madam know it all a lesson, like put her in her place. Like that shows a lack of skills, which is what I was saying. Like you don't have any means of communicating and resolving the issue. So let me get back at her. Let me punish her. Let me show her. Once there is that intentionality of let me do something punitive to somebody or a way of revenging or getting back at somebody, that's toxic, and that's that's where the emotional abuse aspect of it comes into play. You're not the other form of giving yourself space. You're focused on yourself in that moment. You don't want to do something bad. Versus silent treatment when you're focused on what I'm doing to the other person. I don't know if Brother Ben, I don't know if you're understanding the difference here, because I'm actually saying this for you mostly. Are you there? Okay, you're muted, right? Am I being heard?
Chidima,
Yes.
Chidima, you are
Yes, I
not
could
saying.
hear you. But Ben, try to go. But Ben, go.
Yeah, you are not saying it for me, Chidima, because I think like the only area I agree with you is probably maybe the definition of silent treatment from your point of view and probably MOP point of view. But for me, silent treatment is an approach to resolve issues, especially when you are with a partner who won't see reasons. You have an issue on ground you are trying to resolve, but your partner just want to like, no way, we are doing it this way. You try several times, you spark up communication, try to have reasonable conversation, but they still stuck on never. If it's not my way, forget it. I am not gonna listen to this. You just can't get through as a man. And this is where I'm gonna have problem with some of the conversation here. As a man, you should have a way of letting her know that, hey, come. I'm not the type of man who's gonna be yelling and shouting, get engaged in yelling, shouting match with you all day long. I'm not the kind of man who's gonna resolve to physical or whatever. I don't want to control anything. We are having a conversation, and you are not in a place to actually see my point of view. So you already made him know it's your way or no way. That means we have huge problem on our hands. So for me personally, we get to that point, shit, I let you do whatever you want to do. I stay on my lane, JJ. If marriage won't break, maybe make it break at that point.
Okay, Bro Ben, let me ask you a question. Now that I've seen kind of your definition of silent treatment, it's slightly different from mine. So in that regard now, if you're doing that because the woman is being stubborn or like you can't get through to her, she's just not listening to your own opinions, your own suggestions. She's just made up her mind that she's not listening, right? Now, are you ignoring her just for that conversation? Are you ignoring her throughout the day? Like if she greets you good morning, are you answering? Are you guys having other regular conversation outside of that topic that you guys are having difficulty resolving? Are you ignoring her totally the whole day?
It depends on what
Because that's
is
what
the
silent
issue.
treatment is. You basically there's an ignoring part of silent treatment. You basically act like that person doesn't exist. She comes in with the kids, you greet your children, you ignore her.
That
That's
one
silent treatment.
is childish. That's
That's
why I
what we're
said
talking
it's
about
all.
then. So that's why I said I
No,
think we
it's
are
all.
mixing up
It's all.
things.
It's
That is
yeah.
silent.
If you don't break it down, we might misconstrue. What you term silent treatment might not mean silent treatment to someone else. That's why I said it's an approach. It all depends on how you see it. You feel me now?
So what you're
If
talking about basically is somebody who is like, it's just like pouring water on stone, right? Nobody wants to do that. If somebody's not listening to you, I mean, it makes sense to keep quiet because you're not getting through. It makes sense to keep quiet. But that's different from what silent treatment is. There's a definition. We cannot have different definitions for that. There is a standard definition for it.
So
And what you're describing is not the standard definition.
can you guys hear me now?
yes,
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So silent treatment is treating a person with silence. Okay, it's literally snubbing that person.
Right.
Right. It's literally saying I will not. Okay. So now the way Brother Ben is painting it, it sounds very intentional. I don't think it's all the way intentional for most people that do it. Most people that are doing it is a coping mechanism that actually hurts their partner in a very bad way. And also a lot of people do it based off of what Brother Ben is saying. And this conversation is born out of the fact that it's an epidemic. You know, there's no question that there are other things that led to a place where a man would deem it fit. Like, let me just ignore this madam for a few days. Okay, so now let me revert back to Uncle Beno's potential definition for a second here. If we go with your definition, Uncle Beno, how long would be the cap that you say, this one is too much, it's becoming something else?
like how long will be the cap? Like how long will the silent treatment last?
Yes. When you will now,
Until
when you will
un-
say this one is not, it's no longer silent treatment, it's something else.
it depends on the woman. Until when you realize that, okay, this is not my husband, this is not how our home used to be, and it's this conversation that is bringing this attitude out of him. The moment you are ready to come back to the table for the conversation, that's it, we're done, we're back, let's talk about it and get it going.
So how long do you think is too much? Just in general, as a man, if your friend came and say, I just ignore her. If your friend came to you and say, well, you ignore her, how long has it been now? At what point would you say, Baba, are you sure that's still your wife?
Okay, now that's why I said silent treatment, from my point of view, is an approach, and is usually one of the last resort. We are different individually, and in most of my conversation I usually said, in a marriage you have to know your person, you have to know your wife, you have to know your husband, you have to know what
Sorry, go ahead.
you have to know what is their limits. So for me, whatever pushes me to the point whereby I have to apply that silent approach, definitely you don't pass your boundary. As far as me I'm concerned personally with that. So
let's use you then. How long are you capable of going? If she doesn't come, if she doesn't come, would you go 3 months not talking to your wife in the house if she has not come to you and say, let's talk about this?
Look, my own thing is not like we're not talking. So as far as I'm concerned, that's why I say it's a different approach. We are still taking care of our children together. I'm still taking care of my responsibility and everything. The whole thing is just that that's me. That's lively, jovial, funny, exciting me that you get anytime, any day is gone.
And
You
you're
feel me now?
but you understand? Are you willing to admit that you are literally trying to punish her for not listening to you, for being disrespectful?
That is not punish. That is being a man. That's why I kept
Sorry, let
saying
me ask
that
you a
when you
question.
look at these approaches, you have to look at it because when we say, oh, we are giving women soft landing or everything, we are saying men, men, men. This is where it comes. Every man has his own approach and how they run their family and how they do
Uncle
everything.
Beno, stay focused on the point. Don't worry
I'm
about.
focusing on the point. That's why I said, I'm just saying it because we cannot generalize things like that. Everybody's approach is different. In my own approach, the way I see silent treatment is not like
We have not made. We
we
have
are
not
going
made.
for the
You cannot.
longest.
You cannot use the word generalization since we have not made any conclusions yet.
Okay.
We're having a conversation. So
Please, can I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask Bro Ben a question because I like how he's trying to explain how he defines silent treatment for him, right? And he's saying every man is different. So that's why you're kind of narrowing it to him and trying to get him not to generalize and answer specific questions. So following the example you gave, Bro Ben, if for however long you takes and you say, but you guys are still talking normally, taking care of the kids together, right? It's not like you're ignoring her fully and completely. So that's why I'm saying then in that case, it doesn't sound like it's the standard definition of silent treatment that is listed as one of the characteristics of emotional abuse. And even the narcissist does that. Sorry to use the word, but it's there. If you check it, it's there as one of the things they do. But my question to you, Bro Ben, is this. While that is going on, you say she doesn't get the normal jovial, so you are kind of withdrawn. She's not getting the full you that she would normally get, right, as a man. Because you're trying to, I don't know, maybe trying to teach her a lesson, or you can't get through to her, so it's like you reserved and withdrawn. How does that affect
Yes,
your period life
my dear,
in that period?
everything is shut down.
Exact. So you see, so something is not right then.
Oh,
So I was even
what do you
going to
mean by
say.
something is not right?
I was even going to say, right, that the fact that you're taking care of other typical business as a man actually makes it worse, because that person is going to that person is obviously will be attached to all those things that you're taking care of, but at an emotional level, you're literally not just killing her, you're killing yourself too. Because the idea that your woman is just going to sit around and be waiting for you until you're okay, it's not reality. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm speaking to you now as a marriage coach, and I encounter this all the time.
And I'm telling you right now, MOP, that's why I brought the issue of giving women soft landing. Something we push a man to a point whereby the man is like, you know what? I'm shutting down.
So what do you
And
mean? What do you mean by giving women soft landing in this specific
Yes,
case?
what I mean by soft landing is I explain it when you ask me, how long is this going to go? And I said, for as long as it takes her to realize that something is wrong, this man don't used to act like this. We have this conversation, we couldn't make ends meet. I want it my way. He's saying no, and then he shut down. Then when she comes back to the table, we are ready to move on. But if you as a coach, you are telling me, oh, when you
So
shut down like that, it's taking longer.
let's clarify.
Then,
Let's clarify something, right?
okay,
Yeah. When I asked how long it's going to take you, it wasn't about your wife. It's about you as an individual. How long are you capable as a human being to go not talking to your wife? So your wife is an object, excuse me, for this moment.
no problem. I get you.
How long are you capable of going in a relationship with your own wife when you start to feel uncomfortable about that silence? Never mind that she's getting soft landing. Just tell me how long you're capable of doing it before something go do you. Say something no right.
No, something is not right from the moment the woman
refusing
is
to listen.
not ready to have that conversation, so we
Yes.
can resolve amicably. So for me,
That's correct. But I'm talking
once
about another level of something that's not right now. Remember that you felt offended. We're clear on that. You felt offended by the disrespect of your wife. We're very clear on that. We're not going to take that away. Now that you've started this silent approach, and you go. At what point?
As long as it takes.
So you're exactly what we're talking about then. It's a toxic behavior and it's abusive.
I agree if you see it that way, but it's never toxic.
No, not me seeing that way. It's the definition is on the screen. It's the definition of what it is.
Sorry, guys.
Definition by who?
Please hold on. Let me ask Robin another question. I like how we are engaging. I am enjoying this. Robin, are you listening? Please, sorry.
Go on, I'm listening.
Okay. So my question, you said as long as it takes for her to come back to the table, right? And then say, hey, my husband didn't used to act this way. Something is wrong. It was after this conversation when I wasn't giving him listening ear that he shut me down or shut down, right? Let me come back to the table. Now, let's say it takes you, let me just use an estimate. Let's say it takes 1 week for her to come back to her senses. And you said whenever she comes back and she's ready, everything is back to normal. I don't know that one planet that happens in, because let me tell you, day one passes. Do you think your heart towards her is getting softer or harder as time passes?
Look,
we're real human beings with emotions, and we know emotions are not our mate. Okay.
Let me tell you something. Men love differently. There are some men.
Now you are generalizing. You said we should not generalize. You say men. Talk about you.
I'm explaining now. Is she the man not generalizing when he said the heart of emotion and all that?
Okay, all right, continue. I'll let you finish. No worries. We'll dissect it. Yeah, continue.
And MOP, you are the one who always say this is on the cases of each individual. You really say it's on the.
But you said men.
Yeah, I'm replying to Chidima. Chidima take it to general, and I'm going general. We are different human beings. Everybody loves differently. For me personally, before I get to a point whereby I'm like, you know what, this is what you want to do. I'm not an abusive man. I don't even have anything like that. I have different approach of handling things. Like I said, I'm the type that when I'm angry, I talk, I express myself, we get it off. But when I'm trying to communicate and you insisted on it's your way or no way, and I know that this thing we're talking about, you are not even coming in from a reasonable angle, whereby I can say, okay, let me start adjusting my stance. Okay, it's not my way, it's not your way. Okay, let us find a mutual agreement. You are not going towards that approach. Right. When I shut down, I shut down. That is just it. And now, if it takes us 2 weeks, it takes us 1 month, that is it. Whenever you come back, you'll be like, okay, is it because of this matter? Okay, when I say this one, and then we start having the conversation again, the moment we reach that stage whereby we're like, okay, we agree, this is what we're going to do, fine. It's all gone. That's just for me, personally. It's all gone. So no issue.
Wait, it was me. You replied. Let me follow up.
Yeah.
So, Robin, you're saying you can switch on and switch off like that.
Exactly. Perfectly. Not one, not two, not three.
No, go ahead and say it now, Chidima. You say, okay, what do you want to say?
No, I have nothing on that.
No. MOP, let me tell you. Don't worry, everything is fine. MOP, do you know why she said okay?
Why?
I think Chidima is probably in a place whereby she can't believe that there are some men who can actually switch on and off.
No, we believe it. We say it's an epidemic. We already said that.
It's not an epidemic. You guys are making it. No, you guys are making it an epidemic. If we have to fix marriages, we have to start looking at things like this. That is why I say each person is different. Look, if they say this, have you not seen a woman that got divorced and everybody is describing her? Oh, she's a terrible woman. She's shouting. She's a wicked woman. Wait, let me finish, MOP. And then this same woman that everybody say, oh, she has all temper, she's disrespectful. She will marry another man and she will be a different person entirely. You haven't seen cases like that. It's all on individual approaches.
Yeah.
I'm struggling. Let me play this video, right? Because we didn't hear her talk about the thing yet. Hanging. Let me play the video and then we'll talk. Because we must talk about this.
Let me just say this states the fact. Most times when we had issues, you've known me for a while. I don't know how to keep malice. I don't know how to fight, walk out, and come back and see you and not talk to you. I cannot operate like that. Especially we are only 2 in a building. John Toriolo, am I going to talk to my picture? But he had A1 in Malice. So that was what ended the marriage. So when I was pregnant, my first trimester, when we started having issues, financial issues, which was not, it was not even the problem. It was the fact that we kept Malice for 3 weeks and I was pregnant
Welcome
in
to
the
you.
same house. I just packed my bags one day and I said, oh, I'm leaving. I'm going back to my father's house. What is this?
3 weeks.
What is going on here? Like, I would be so angry. I would leave. I get belly. He knows I get belly. I'll carry my belly. I'll go to my friend's house for a quick go stay for money till like maybe 12 midnight. Because they keep Malice, he no go even call me say, where you carry my belly go? Even if you didn't give a SHIT about me.
That says
Do you
about the
understand?
child.
The concern. You don't chop, we no go starve my begin. There was no, the Malice reached the begin. You know, go.
Wow.
So when I looked at it and it was going all the way to 3 weeks, I just picked some few things and I just went to my father's house, and that was how.
Did you at any
How
point sit down and discuss with him?
Somebody that likes to keep Malice, how do you want to speak to that kind of person?
I want even
Somebody that like to keep malice, how do you want to speak to that person? That's what we're talking about, though. So let's bring it home. Let's talk. All right. So let me see here. So this is the actual definition. Not me made it up. Not me how I feel. Just what it means when we say silent treatment. Inside of our book, Get My Marriage Back, there's a whole chapter on silence is golden. That's a different context, right? We can use silence about 2,000 different ways, right? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So we can use silence, the word silence, in 2,000 different ways, right? Maybe even more, right? But when you say silence is golden and silent treatment, those are two different things. Silent treatment is treating somebody's fuck up with silence, right? We didn't say there's no F up. We didn't say that. We're saying as a method inside of a marriage, as a form of communication, is destructive. And you know, 2 wrongs don't make it right. All right? 2 wrongs will never make it right. So I want to be careful that I'm being extremely careful to acknowledge that, yes, some things led to a point where a person is resorting to silent treatment as their solution. But what I am telling anybody under the authority of my voice right now is that will it work? You are creating destruction. You are creating more damages. It's going to take you that much longer to repair it, if you are able to repair it. Resentments will happen. Okay? And remember, hold on. Remember, we're never talking about right and wrong. You ended up in a marriage that is a wrong vibe right now. Both of you are already wrong. So it's not even about that. It's not about who is right or who is wrong. That's why I said we no be judge here. We're just saying your own tactic. If your own tactic is silent treatment or keeping malice, is going to destroy everything. You're going to think you're still correcting. The devil is not your mate. He's always going to come from a blind spot. It's not going to come from what we consider logic as human beings. You're leaving a whole crack in your wall. You know, it's very important. And exactly what Uncle Ben described, that's silent treatment, the way we thought it was. That was keeping malice. And I understand sometimes your woman is disrespectful, she's not listening, and you feel like you should shut off. That is not a good form of communication. If you have to back off of an argument, that's a different thing entirely. You notice that the argument is getting toxic and you say, okay, let's sleep over it. Okay, let me use active listening. Okay, let's revisit this tomorrow. Okay, well, do your thing. Let me know how it goes. Maybe it's something that, that you said don't go this way and they decide to go that way, right? But to completely shut off engagement, it's not something we can encourage. Hold on one second before I let you go, Chidima. Let me just read some of this. It stretches says sometimes people are so emotionally distressed that they psychologically, I guess she meant to say, psychologically shut down. They have no other way to respond. They can't even digest the information you are giving them. That's the when you back off. I tell men all the time, you don't argue, you avoid arguments with your woman. It's as simple as, it's very simple rule, right? So that's a different conversation. That's not silent treatment. You say, hey, I don't want to talk about that right now. That's not silent treatment. That is not keeping malice. Keeping malice means keeping malice. You disobey me, I want to punish you. I don't have to use the word punish, but I will not talk to you for as long as it takes until you self-correct. That's what we're talking about. Stretcher says, for some people, the silent treatment is a learned behavior. One they might not even realize it's wrong. It's not just that it's wrong, it's going to create wrong results. There's a difference between something creating wrong results and it's actually wrong. It can actually, some people's moral construct might actually say it's right. Maybe that's what they learned, like you say. But me, I know for a fact it would destroy and eat up that marriage. In fact, they may see it as a good thing, a way to avoid conflict and repress. Again, once you are saying avoiding conflict, there are actual methods and strategies around that's more healthy that might actually require back off for 1 day or 2. Yes, that's not the same thing as silent treatment. I'm trying to separate them now and keeping malice. Right? Oh, that you're punishing. Yeah, punishing is the action, not admitting in words. Isamo says, an emotional abuser uses silent treatment. You don't have to do anything to get that treatment. It's who they are. Hish. Ouch. Anyway, go, Chidima. I'm listening.
Okay, Isamo, I'm going to pick up right off from where they stopped. You know, yes. That is actually a behavioral trait. And I know that because I have experienced it, right? You don't have to do anything. That's why it's under the list of emotional abuse, because it is a trait of someone who is abusive. They may not be all the way have NPD, but they are an abuser. That's who they are. And it's easy for people to say, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not that. Like you rightly said, we are not the ones to define who we are. The people who are receiving us, who are on the other end of our interactions and engagements, who will define how they receive what we are putting out. It's not for us to say I'm this or I'm not this, because you can have blind spots and you may not know the energy you're giving off. So, for example, like I said, it starts with silent treatment. The person doesn't talk to you the whole day, not just on that issue. Next thing, from what I've experienced, the person moves out of the bedroom and starts sleeping on the sofa. And you yourself, they're not doing it because they can't get through to you. You even approach and say, hey, what's the problem? What's going on? They completely shut you down. They are choosing not to talk to you about anything. Can't tell you is this or is that. They are just not talking to you. You are crying, you're on your knees, you are pleading, trying to bring other people in, resolve the issue. They are just not talking. For not talking to you, they stop sleeping with you, they stop eating your food. The silent treatment escalates. Because I saw I'm bringing this in because I saw the definition you put earlier in the chat, Man of Prestige. You said it's a form of withholding communication and affection. So the affection part of it is why I'm giving this example. It can go from withholding communication to withholding other things. There's a deliberate attempt. Okay, you treated me this way, I'm going to withhold an affection or a communication. Like Robin said, I'm not going to get that full part of me, that jovial part of me. There's a deliberate withholding going on there. So that's why you said what he's describing is silent treatment. He's saying it's not that who is defining it. And like I said, there is a standard definition. It might be a painful pill to swallow because we are socialized a certain way, which is why you're saying it's an epidemic. It might be a painful pill to swallow for some of us. Just like for some of us so-called modern women, there might be things we are doing that we may not know is not working in our favor. If we are confronted with the truth, we have to change and address it. The truth is not always palatable and sweet, but it is the truth. And if we are open to learning, we have to confront it and say, okay, so now I see I'm acting this way and I didn't know it wasn't helpful. Maybe your partner has never even told you it affects them a particular way. But other people are telling you now. But maybe because they're not the person in the marriage with you, and the person in the marriage with you has never raised it, you feel it doesn't matter.
Are you-
You're not that way.
Are you talking to me, Chidima?
Indirectly, yes.
Indirectly.
It better be indirectly.
No.
everything-
We're always talking to everybody listening to
I'm
us.
just
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. So, but Chidima, what I want to point out is this, though.
Yes.
You see, and this is where I'm having issue with some of this conversation. All we've been saying all this while now, everything I heard from you guys, demand. Demand is just the mad person that just shut down. Demand just say, "Oh, my wife." What are you saying? You did not mention. No, you did not mention one thing. See, if you have said something like, "Okay, as a woman, if my husband shut down like this, just because we're having communication, we cannot get across. Okay, first day, second day, oh, I'll feel like this thing is getting out of." Then I will say you are talking. But all I'm hearing from you and MOP right now is, "Oh, as a man, when you shut down like that." I just explained to you right now, there are some men that they love you. They know they are going nowhere. They don't have.
Do you
any
mind if I
backup or
correct
anything.
something? I never said as a man, no. I never said that, though. Now you
But
put
okay,
words in
what-
my mouth.
okay.
You gave the example.
Break it down
You
and make
gave the
it make sense, because all I'm hearing is we use me as an example. You even ask me how long are you, and I'm telling you I'm willing to go as long as until the woman realizes that something is not right. Let's go back and discuss this thing out. I'm not saying we are
Wait.
fighting. I say we were having this scenario we painted is that we're having a conversation. We couldn't get across. It was hard. Then as a man,
No, but I asked you questions now. I said for how long? You said for as long as it takes.
and I said, as long as it takes, and I give you the reason why it's like that. We are different individuals.
Yeah, the reason was designed to. Let me say this: the reason was designed to convince me that you are right. Remember, I told you that you are right already. Remember?
No, I am not right. I'm telling you.
You're right.
Yeah, we did now.
I'm
And
never
I accept
saying-
if you say it's a wrong approach, I accept. But I'm just letting you know that we are different as individuals. Because everything I keep hearing is
Hold on,
in fact,
Chidima.
it's like-
Let me address that. We are different.
In fact, it's like
Hold on. Let me address that. We are different.
okay, make I not finish.
No, wait.
If I not finish, how would you now know where I'm
Anger with me. You've said it
Let me
at
finish.
least 5 times. I'll let you finish, but you said it at least
Please, I
5
want
times.
to
So
say
let me
something
address
to
it. Right?
Nicole.
No, you did. I did here.
Right.
I did here. Okay, I have at least another 15 minutes. Right? Let me
Can I
say
say
this.
something?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yes. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I
Can you hear me, Chidima? Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me
Yes.
say this, right? But Ben has said this a few times, okay? Which is okay, you go, because I lost my train of thought. You go.
Sorry.
Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, bro, you said me and Ola attend demand. I want to say two things. We asked you, please define what you mean by silent treatment. And you said it is used by men when they are women. You started by saying it's what men
Thank you.
do. So we're
And I asked him not to generalize.
We asked you define. You could have easily used the definition of a woman that does it when her husband is not listening. But you give a particular specific example. We are just responding to your example. Lou. That's number one. Number two, I literally just talked about a man that started with silent treatment verbally and escalated it to not eating food and withholding career. And the woman begged him and even brought other people to talk to the man to find out what is wrong. And he's not talking. He's still continuing the silent treatment. How is that blame the man now? The woman did something to resolve whatever is the issue. The man is not coming forward to say, this is what you did, or this is why I'm acting this way. I literally just said, that was the first thing I said, but you're saying all you hear us saying is, the man is this, the man is the wicked person, the man is the wicked person. I don't know what you're hearing.
You are using
I don't know
an
what you're hearing.
unrelated example, Chidima. You are using
How is it
unrelated
unrelated?
example. We started with Jegede. Jegede is Abi. Is she not the one that said her husband is giving her silent treatment? Is that not where we both went different way? When I said, where is the rest of the story? Before you say a man give you silent treatment and all that, what is going on? And then we talk about having conversation and nobody is willing to yield. The woman is not ready to listen. She just wants it her way or the other way. And I said some men will shut down. And when the question was directed to me, and I said, for me, literally, I will shut down. If I'm trying to communicate with you, I try to explain, and then you insisted it's your way or no way, you are not ready to yield, I will shut down. A man of the MOP asked, for how long? And I said, for
Right.
however it's going to be, I will shut down. Then you bring a different scenario entirely. A scenario of a man who just all of a sudden shut down. So tell the man not to go inside bedroom or anywhere again, because you are mixing this thing together, Chidima.
Okay.
So,
in your
can
opinion,
I speak now?
Let me just finish. So in your
Okay,
opinion, a man cannot do silent treatment unless a woman causes it. You don't believe that some men will just wake up and just, because in their nature, they are abusive in nature, and they don't want to do physical abuse because they're in a country they could get in trouble. So one way to control is to withhold affection or communication. You don't believe a man can do that as a means of punishing a woman, even
I
if
believe
didn't
a man can do that.
Okay.
I believe a man can do that, but not all men will do that. I'm talking
No,
about
not all men. We agreed on
that
that.
person. No be Mugo Park. I'm not talking about.
So
Mugo Park.
let me speak on this, okay? I'm very specific, and feel free to call it generalization, okay? Because I've seen enough cases that this is an epidemic. It's a common sense driven strategy. It's a terrible strategy. It's a strategy used by people that don't know what they're doing when it comes to marriage. And it doesn't work. And you will lose your wife. I know you don't care. You will lose your family. I know you care about that part. Potentially, you will lose your children, and you come back 30 years from now and you cry wolf. And yes, I am speaking to men in this respect. Okay? I will speak to women in a second here. I'm speaking to men in this respect right now. If your strategy of communication is to shut down, that is not something you're doing intentionally. It's a part of your personality. It's a part of who you are. It's something you learned. It's a toxic strategy that you learned, and it doesn't work. Eventually, something will give. If we're talking about 2024 and beyond, because people have options. When it gets down to survival, people will throw their morals out the window and will exercise those options. They will also be wrong. That doesn't exonerate them from being wrong. But I promise you, your family will be destroyed and you will hate yourself the day you come into the apartment and it's dry and nobody is there. It's easy for you to come in, you go into your man cave, it's funky, you go and hide in your corner because you know that person is still on the other side of the house. The day you come into that house and it's quiet, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to feel like a failure when that happens. Okay? Why am I saying that? I'm not predicting it's happening as we speak because I have a ton of cases like that. And I'm telling you right now. Okay? It's a terrible strategy. Two wrongs don't make it right. If your wife is being disrespectful, there are healthy ways to address that issue. I promise you the healthy way I'm going to give you as a man is always going to come from the standpoint that you are the king. You are the leader. In other words, I will not be accepting that you want to match yourself along with a woman. I will remind you as much as possible that you are the king. So the strategy you have to use has to involve that you are a king in your own household. A king will not shut down on the people that are following him. It just doesn't work that way. The worst he's going to do is tell the person to pack their leg. If that person is that disrespectful, say, you need to leave my house. They will leave the relationship, whatever that means. But not leaving the relationship or leaving half-ass, and you're walking into the house back and forth. I understand it's a coping mechanism. I understand it's what you might have concluded in your mind is a reverse psychology type of thing. That's any kind of reverse psychology tactic or strategy that does not involve actively seducing and attracting your wife. It's, again, all of us have done this in one respect or the other. We use the part where we use strategies that doesn't work, right? It's a terrible strategy. It's going to destroy you more than help you with anything. So it's very, very important. Now, Women some women do cease sex from their spouse, right? They withhold sex from their spouse. The reason why I don't like addressing that from that standpoint is because we're talking about sex. A person that wants to have sex with you will not be withholding sex from you. But fair enough, you might say a person who wants to talk to you will not be withholding communication from you. But maybe we should now lump all of them into a box together now, right? If you're in a relationship, particularly a relationship that's supposed to be holding a marriage together, and you're using manipulative, this is manipulation. It's called manipulation because it does not involve value for the other side. It involves actively trying to control the other person to do what you want. And that's it, full stop. And that's all you want, and full stop. Once you get that, you're happy. Unfortunately, you might be happy, it's temporary. That person has resentment inside of them. And they might not intentionally do it. They're going to get their own pound of flesh. You will pay dearly for that. You will pay a hefty price for it. Guaranteed. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. So I just wanted to leave that out there. As far as Yvonne Jegede is concerned, she's telling a story. This side of the story where she just tell just now. Hold on one second.
MOP, I'm sorry, you've not spoken about women's side though. I just want to point it out. That's what I was waiting for. You go on men now. You say men, you will suffer, your home will break, but you've not spoken about women. No.
Wait now. Yvonne Jegede, what she just told us, right? What she just described, it's an epidemic. We have to believe what she said. It's happening everywhere. So it's happening. So we have to address it in that way. The other side of the story, when we get it, we will address it. And when the man comes up and come and tell us that woman was disrespectful to me, so I shut down on her, guess what I'm going to tell him? Your guess is as good as mine. You shut down on your wife because, well, I understand it. But there are better ways to communicate. There are better ways to get the results you're looking for as a man, as a king in your own household. Yes, especially when you're broke and she's the one paying for everything, your emotional intelligence needs to be very sharp, because your emotions will test you, will make you question everything. Is she saying that because she's the one bringing in the money? Is she saying that to me? You will forget completely that this is how you bantered. That's what she described. Okay, now women who are disrespectful to their husband, the answer is very simple. Don't be disrespectful to your husband. What do you want me to say? I don't have any stories around that. Don't be disrespectful to your husband. I have a whole video on that. I think I recorded a video on that where I addressed the respect thing. At every point I made sure I spoke to the ladies at every point with regards to respect. Did you see that video? When I was addressing the video, the doctor.
You only mentioned ladies twice. I listened to everything.
That's not true. That means you didn't listen. I mentioned ladies for every point. All 5 points. Ladies were spoken to at the end of each one of those 5 points. So maybe you should go and listen again. So again, when it comes to disrespect, this idea of addressing ladies with disrespect. Hold on.
I'll let you finish. Disrespect to. See, this topic is not about disrespect to MOP. This is not about disrespect. Disrespect is a different thing entirely. Communication breakdown is not a sign that your wife is disrespecting you. From my own point of view.
I'm listening.
You are having a husband and wife is having an argument over, it could be money, it could be any other family issues. The wife wants it some way, the husband wants it that way. Because the husband wants it certain way doesn't mean that the husband is right. And because the wife wants it certain way doesn't mean that the wife is right. I'm talking about a situation whereby the wife won't just, she's not ready to communicate in a way that both of them can resolve the issue amicably and have a definite decision and make a definite decision between both of them.
Uncle Beno.
That does not mean that she's disrespecting the man. That is just them having communication breakdown.
It's a disagreement.
That's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from point of respect or disrespect. Now, I
got you.
Entirely.
I hear you.
All right, sir.
Okay, so now you have a communication breakdown. Okay, that's a communication breakdown. You still don't want to. It's still not a solution to shut down on your partner. for more than 48 hours at any point in time. Okay? When you're at 72 hours, you're pushing it. Okay? There are ways to address communication breakdown. The specific ways to address those communication breakdown would depend on what we're talking about. It would depend on the specifics of the issues that you're arguing about. Because the reality is that even disrespect, disagreement, emotional abuse, verbal abuse will happen in every marriage. Guarantee, it doesn't mean it's right. It just means most people will experience it first before they fix it. How you address it is really what we're talking about. The strategies around addressing it. It will be based on the specific. One thing we can generalize right now is that the silent treatment is not the way to fix any communication breakdown. We can generalize that. We can tell you what not to do. Specifically, what you need to do would depend on what you're having a conversation around. I can generalize this. I can tell you active listening. Did you take your time? Are you patient with yourself to understand where the other person is coming from? Did you feel the need that today we must have an answer? Are you patient to wait till tomorrow before we have an answer? Right? We can generalize those. We can talk at the surface level like that. We can talk at a very high level like that. But I cannot scold anybody when I don't have the specifics. I can tell you that if you're a disrespectful woman, you go collect. You cannot tell me you did not hear that in that video. Right? Are people walking around deliberately being disrespectful? I don't think so. I think things lead to one thing or the other. We need to know the specifics. Are people walking around just keeping malice with their husband, with their wife? I don't think so either. But I can tell you that keeping malice is an epidemic. You need to engage a wise counsel in order to fix that issue, because what you're doing is you're sowing seeds of resentments that will eat up everything you care about. You might not think you care right now. You might be in that I don't care zone. I promise you, you're going to care when the devil is done destroying everything you've cooked up to that point in time. So I don't know if there's any other specifics I need to speak to. What I was going to speak to the ladies about, if you're a person, not even just ladies, if you're a person, you're dealing with a person who tends to use silent treatments to punish you. That's what is going on. It's a punishment. It's a form of punishment. They don't have to admit that it's punishment. If the idea is to get you to behave a certain type of way, and they're willing to go more than 48 hours, 72 hours, and not revisit and say, let's talk, that person is operating from a place of weakness. And yes, on your end, it's going to feel like wickedness. You need to stop everything you're doing. You need to engage wise counsel if you're the one complaining. You don't have to wait for the other person. If you know you're going through this and you know that this is a problem, as how you feel, and you know that potentially you're giving excuses for them. If you're going through this, you also have a tendency to give excuses for them. It's not just that's not how they are all the time. They do it only once in a while. How do you feel when you're doing it? Okay, if any part of you feel like this is toxic, then it needs to be addressed. Okay? Because like Uncle Beno has been trying to allure to, you might just be the problem. It might be the way you approach matters. Actually, the person who is keeping malice is the problem specific to the keeping malice part, because they don't know what they're doing too. But again, what are the other issues going on in your marriage? Because like I told you, if whatever is going on in your marriage has led to a point where somebody is keeping malice and they're doing silent treatment, it will eat up the marriage. You have two choices. Fix the marriage or walk out of the marriage so that you don't damage yourself or other people for future relationships. Because that's what's going to happen if you don't do something about it right now. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
If a man engages in silent treatment for just 24 hours, and the wife notices that the man is already applying silent treatment, what should the woman do?
What should a woman do?
Yes.
All right, so let me process that. I'm going to answer you, okay? First of all, if it's just 24 hours, I can't call it silent treatment yet. Maybe maybe the argument was too toxic, he backed off. Maybe he's leaving some space. Maybe he needs some space. It's okay to need space. And it's okay to give space. Because distance makes the heart fonder. Okay? If you notice that your husband has not been talking to you for 24 hours, you're not going to pretend that you don't know that there's an issue that you had a conversation about yesterday. We're not going to pretend. Okay? There's something that went down yesterday. Okay? Now, my mind is going to two different directions. This is his typical behavior. It's about to be 3 months of him not talking to you. If that's the case, don't engage him. You need to talk to wise counsel. Okay? Because you're probably going to overreact. That conversation is going to go down in the potopoto again. If it's a situation that is a first off, you've never really experienced this before, and your spouse is not talking to you for 24 hours, if you're able to notice that, you should engage that conversation and say, what's going on, babe? You should talk about it. Just talk about it. Get back to the conversation. If it's a situation that you know that this person has a tendency of doing this and you've experienced it 3 months, 3 weeks at a time, or you try to talk to them, or you are afraid, I'll tell you what a lot of women are experiencing. They're actually extremely afraid of approaching that situation because they don't know what kind of shutdown they're going to get next. And of course, women hate rejections too.
MOP, you're mixing it up now. You have taken it to like 3 different.
Tell me what you want to hear. You just tell us what you want to hear now.
You already said what I want to hear, but you are mixing it up with.
No, there's context. What I am hiding is context.
At least you should have finished with that before you start, because it's like.
It's never what I said. It's because it's.
You want to like quickly deviate it so that people will not focus on that. You said what
no.
Which I give you 100 for.
No, wait. Before you go into that, I want you to be clear that it is never a situation where the husband is just not talking for 24 hours. Go and approach him and love it and give him a head. It's never that situation, Uncle Beno.
You are not. That's why I say you are taking it everywhere. I'm just asking from a perspective of a man who is telling you that sometimes there are women who will literally push you to that point whereby you just have to shut down if you don't want the situation to lead to something else. I know you don't want to accept it. I get it. Because
why do you think? Wait. Why do you think I don't want to accept it? You can't just throw accusations without giving me
the message. It's not accusation. I'm just saying it because your stance has always been that you are the man. Do something. You are the man. Be the king.
So you're the one making assumptions. Why do you think I don't want to accept it?
What you said. I'm repeating what you said, and that's what you say in most situations when we bring issue like this. You will say the man is the king. You have to figure it out, which I quite understand and I absolutely agree with. But my thing is, there are some women. I pray if people don't jam Agbako. Even some women are not even that bad. It could be maybe in the early stage of the marriage when they are still discovering each other. That those women last kills themselves.
What should you do with such women? Let's talk to you men now. What should you do with such? If you follow my teaching, what should you do?
Let me finish what I'm saying, MOP.
Okay.
When we have women, it's like you just assume that there is not this type of women that they will literally frustrate a man, that the man will become something else. It's like you just assume.
Uncle Beno, you just made something up now.
Okay, I agree. I made it up because you are. I'm trying to explain it. You are pushing it back like it's like. Don't go.
No, I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
Don't mention it that women are like that. That's just the way it comes off.
See, you're assuming. I'm actually with you.
Not assuming. Okay? Let me just finish it. There are some women. I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling you sincerely, as a man who have seen it one way or the other happen several times. There are times that. No matter how good or how you think you are, either as a woman or as a husband, you and your woman or your husband will get to a place where you can't just meet.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question.
Why is it that when I tell you there are women who will frustrate a man, why is it that when I tell you that you don't believe?
It's not frequent in your conversation. He doesn't frequent your conversation.
Why did you say Chidima?
Mostly,
hold on. What did Chidima say?
He doesn't hear it.
He doesn't hear it, right?
Oh God!
You don't hear it. You know. Why? No, but answer the question. Why is it that you don't believe when I tell you that there are gentlemen, there are
Because
women that would
usually
frustrate your life? Why is it that you don't believe that when I say that?
You say it, but you never go into some details.
Okay, now that we've admitted that there are women that can frustrate your life, I'm asking you now. No. I'm asking you a question. No, I'm asking you a question now. So now that we've agreed that there are women that can frustrate your life as a man, what should you do with such man? I'm asking you now. With such woman.
You didn't give specific situation. You just say such woman. What should you do? I already told you. I give you a situation, and I was even generous enough to use myself as an example. And I told you, if I'm in a place whereby we can't reach an agreement, and the tempo is high, and I feel that this thing, we are not going anywhere with this. We are not heading anywhere. And the woman insists, hell, it's my way or no way, everything. I just admitted to you. I used myself as an example. I said, look, I will shut down. Literally, and Chidima asked me, what type of shutdown? And I said, I will withdraw everything I do. How I make you laugh, the things that I will withdraw it. We will take care of the children. Hey, good morning, how are you? Case closed. And you asked me for how long? I'm telling you, it will go for as long as it wants. But the point I wanted to make that I'm trying to emphasize here is this. What should a woman do when you push a man, or you feel like, okay, you don't even push him. You just feel like, oh, we have this argument, but we cannot resolve this argument. Now, this man has shut down. It's been 3 days. What should you do as a woman? That's what I wanted you to address.
The woman
if you are just saying you are the man,
I addressed it, but I'll repeat it.
You will lose your marriage. It doesn't matter. Let the marriage lose.
I know there are many people who feel the way you feel out there. So I addressed it, but I'm going to repeat it. Okay? If you're in this kind of situation as a woman, okay, and this is a repeated situation, this man is going to go for as long as it takes, and this is his method. He will punish you. Don't attempt to lead that relationship. It's not going to work. You need to seek wise counsel. Okay? You have certain powers that you don't know how to use. You need to seek wise counsel. You engaging him and leading that conversation is not going to work because he has not worked up to now. He shuts down.
I disagree with that one. No.
Wait now. Let me finish now.
Shut down. No, I disagree.
He shuts down.
Makes him shut down.
Wait. Uncle Ben, no, let me finish now.
Let me just.
Sheba, I let you finish. Sheba, I let you finish. Sheba, I let you finish now. Let me finish.
Yes, sir.
I'm using your specific example. He shuts down, right? Anytime the conversation gets too difficult, he calls it, we can't get to an agreement. He shuts down. And he's about to shut down for as long as it takes. You need to engage wise counsel. That's your husband. It's not going to be as simple as walking away. Guaranteed. Right? You need to engage wise counsel. You need to work on yourself because there's something about you that's attracting a kind of man that will shut down on you when the conversation gets too difficult. It doesn't mean it's your fault, but at least you will learn some skills around how you move, and then we can help you navigate your way to working things out with him. But working things out with him temporarily is not going to work. He's going to do it again. He's going to punish you next month again. Because difficult conversation is the reality when it comes to two human beings collaborating. It's inevitable in corporate world. It's damn sure inevitable in the romantic relationship. And if every time his tactic is to run to shutting down, it's not going to work. You're going to have resentment. And the day you decide that it's over, it's going to be over for real. And it's going to drag you woto because remember, a person who shuts down like that, I'm not talking about Uncle Ben or anybody in particularly, a person that shuts down, that's their method, they will use anything within their power and get petty in efforts to control the situation. Because they don't know how to use attraction, they don't know how to use seduction, they don't know how to use influence. They don't think it's possible once a woman is too difficult. They've concluded it's not possible. Because a woman is just too difficult, she's no longer a human being. I'm telling you, as long as that person, that man is a human being, there's a power that you don't know how to use yet. And don't attempt to go and engage that conversation with a pragmatic mindset. Let's just talk. You will just collect wutu as usual. That's my warning to you. Uncle Ben, that's the answer I have for that. Do you want me to address men?
You already addressed men now.
Oh, I did? Oh, I didn't know. Man, you should, if you don't know what you're doing, if you yield towards teenager behavior, that's a teenager behavior, shutting down, then seek wise counsel too now. There are things you don't know. All of us, even me, there are things I don't know. It's okay to say I don't know something. Like, help me, I need help. This one is difficult. Help me. I need help. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you less of a man. It actually makes you more of a man that you're willing to do that. That you're willing to recognize that, you have issues. Go ahead, Chidima. I'm going to let you guys have last words and then we'll shut down for the day. Thank you so much for the conversation.
This will be my last word. I have a question for Bro Ben. Bro Ben would say I'm always coming with questions. I just want some clarification, right? So, Bro Ben, are you there?
He's driving, but I think he's listening.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that original example you gave when we asked you to define silent treatment, and you gave the example of a man who is having a normal conversation with his wife, kind of gets heated, it turns into an argument, and she's not listening to reason, right? Or even allowing him to say his own opinion. So he now shuts down and starts to withdraw and withhold some sort of affection and communication. That's the general idea you have of defining your own silent treatment until she comes around, right? However long it takes her. Now, what if the man decides, okay, because she might not even know that it's something she did that is causing the silent treatment. She might think you're having a difficult day at work. Like, she might think whatever. We don't know. This is a hypothetical example. Now, in that hypothetical, if the man decides, let me ask my wife if she's ready to talk about this in a more calm way, right? I go to her and I say, hey, babe, last time we tried to address this issue, we couldn't get any resolution. Are you calm now? Can we try and come back to this topic? Will it make a man less of a man if he goes first to break the ice? Will it make him less of a man?
Break the ice like we have an argument.
Yes.
Okay, like we have an argument about something that we were supposed to arrive at a collective decision. Is that what you're saying? And then
the same example you used.
Yeah, we couldn't get headway because the woman insisted it's her way and no way. Right. And then the man shut down. That's what you're saying, right? So you are asking me, maybe after 2, 3, 4 days, is it wrong for the man to come back to the conversation? That's what you're asking, right?
Is it wrong? Yeah, for him to be the first person to make the first move instead of waiting for the woman. Right.
No,
do you feel that will make him less of a man?
No. It's not wrong for the man, maybe after 3, 4 days, to come back and started the conversation all over again. But my point has always been that we are different individuals. Some men might feel like, okay, since you are the husband in this house now, is your way or no other way, there is no need to talk to you. Once you are ready to have that conversation, I'm here for you. So some men may not restart it. And some men can actually summon the courage to restart the conversation. And if they restart the conversation again, the woman still insists it is still how I want it, then the man will go back to where he's coming from, Jeje.
Right.
So hold on. I remember what I wanted to say earlier, so I don't forget again. Uncle Ben, I have a question for you around what you just said. Right? I do say that too, but I'm only saying that when it comes to application, which is we're all different individuals, we're all unique individuals. I say that when it comes to applications, the principles were not unique. The principles that work across the board work across the board. And that's true. The only place where the only institution we disrespect with that ideology is marriage, that everybody is different. We don't say that when it comes to any other institution out there, the legal institutions, the judiciary institutions, the police, all these different places, the school you go to, all these formality places, the work you go to. We don't disrespect these platforms by saying we're all different individuals. We have set of rules, standard operation procedures that we follow. It's only in marriage when we say we're unique. The same thing is true in any of those institutions. The knowledge, the principles, they are true across the board. They are the same thing across the board. How you apply them to individual situations are unique. We have a lot more in common than we like to admit. We have a lot more in common than we like to admit. We're just humans. But all of us have two nostrils. We have two eyes. There's some exceptions. Some people have 6 fingers on one hand. You're right. But that's the exception. Most people that are listening to me right now have not seen anybody, I've never seen anybody with 6 fingers, and they do exist. So we're not just going to keep saying everybody is different, everybody is different. What we are saying here today is that silent treatment is not good across the board. There are better communication methods. If I need to deal with a person to instill this in them, I need to apply, I need to understand them, where they're coming from, understand them, and then get them to understand and get them to show. Now that's the application. But I'm just going to agree with them, agree to disagree, and say, no, for some people, silent treatment works. No, it does not. It simply does not. I wanted to address that earlier. I wanted to make sure I address it before I continue. Continue, Chidima, with your last point. Sorry.
Okay, Robin has been making a point. He's been saying we're talking about the man. We're not really addressing what pushed the man to do the silent treatment. I want to say something because I think we kind of missed it in this whole conversation. It's the same thing as saying a man hits a woman. We're not addressing what did she do. I know we can talk about, hey, women, don't provoke your man. Fine, there's a place and time for that. But when somebody is a victim of a particular behavior, that's not the time to come and be saying, what did they do? It's just like you go to court and you're saying, rape victim. What did she do? Sorry, rape, whatever. What did they do? How did they dress? You know, there is, that's where the balance thing you talk about, Ola, comes in. We can't always have balance because there's a power dynamic going on. There's a social dynamic going on that we have, and emotional intelligence. All these things you teach are all going in the background of a specific situation, and don't have to come to play. So you can't just blindly say, "Oh, the woman must have done something to push a man." There are people. There wouldn't be anybody diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. There wouldn't be anybody diagnosed as a sociopath or psychopath that are busy bringing on body counts. I'm going to use the safe word, body counts that are in the morgues. Then we should ask those people in the morgue, what did they do to warrant being in the morgue? It's not always black and white. That's one of the final things I want to say. There's not always a time where we have to say, what did the man do or what did the woman do to warrant that treatment? It's just like the women that are disrespecting their men. I know Allah says sometimes there's an energy the man is giving off that if he's being a leader, if he's the king, the woman will naturally respect him. May or may not always be true. We can always fault men for their women being disrespectful. That's one of the things I want to bring out. It's like a salient point, but I want to also have at the back of our minds as we're having these conversations. Sometimes we should just focus on the person who we're talking about because we might end up resorting to low-key victim blaming and victim shaming. That's all I have to say, my final words.
Thank you so much, Chidima. I appreciate you for coming up tonight and elevating the conversation. Uncle Beno, your last word, sir.
Okay. Thank you for the privilege and thank you, Chidima. My last word is simple, is what I've been reiterating all this while. Know your person. Know your husband, know your wife. You should know their limits, know their breaking point, and know how they react to issues. And as a woman, don't expect that every time your man should be the one to come around, every time he should be the one to come and apologize, or every time he should be the one to do this or do that. You to take action on your own part. It is called marriage. You are both married and you want to stay married. And we all know that marriage comes with circumstances, challenges, issues. When these issues are coming up, how do you guys go about to resolve it? What is their breaking point? What is that point whereby they will be like, okay, I give up, I'm not doing again, or I give up, I do whatever you want. And particularly, I'm gonna say this to every woman whom I agree or not. If you are in a good marriage, your husband is trying his best, you are trying your best, and you are getting to this situation whereby your husband continuously states his mind about certain things he doesn't agree with. Understand how to adjust and meet his expectation as regard that. So far, it's not something toxic. If it is just like the communication thing we're talking about now, you should know, okay, this man shut down. How do I avoid this shutdown the next time? I know there are some Mugo Parks, there are some nasty men out there that will use it as punishment. But for me personally, I don't think every man use shut it down as punishment. It's like they are getaway ticket. If they feel that, okay, this argument is heated up, what can I do? I don't want to be a violent man. Okay, let me just stay my lane, jeje. And if the man stay day 1, day 2, day 3, he stopped doing what he is doing, and he's not the kind of man who's maybe he shut down because he want to go have a run off with a girlfriend or side chick somewhere. Then why don't you just sit back and think, okay, what exactly is this guy saying and what am I saying? Chidima have said this thing severally and I hold on to that. Maybe we are not hearing each other out. Okay, as a woman, let me even come back and think along his way. I've been in this situation on multiple occasions in my own personal marriage. And whenever I get to the point that it is your way or no other way, I know they fight. I know one wahala. I just day my day, jeje. And that's why I always say that anybody can walk away from a marriage. If the thing no favor you, it no favor me anymore. I want my peace, you want your peace. May we part way. That's easy thing. But if in as much as I still want to be in the marriage, and you also want to be in the marriage, it doesn't matter if the man shut down. It takes nothing away from you to come to the table and say, okay, I get it. This one you are not talking, you are not doing it. Okay, what exactly are you saying? And then a reasonable man, we open up the conversation again. In my own case, that's what I would do. I will open up the conversation again. Let us talk about it. So my last word is, don't ever go the way of he is the man. He has to come back. He has to come and apologize. He is the head of the home. Forget, some men are not ready to be head of the home when they feel that you are the one who want to be on top. You are the one who want to be in charge all the time. Because when any woman is not ready to listen to what the husband is saying, that means now she be the head of the house now. So, madam, continue be the head of the house. Take charge, take control. Make I carry my bag, make I waka jeje. So please, if marriage is going to work, it takes two people to calm down and understand each other properly. How do they communicate? How do they react to certain situations? So that's just what I'm gonna say. Thank you, MOP.
Thank you, Uncle Beno. You don't mind if I tackle some of your points, right?
Of course, go ahead.
All right, good. Thank you for coming up, though. I'm going to round up the show. And Chidima, thank you so much. We'll talk soon. I appreciate you. I'm going to put you so I can put my face on the camera while I'm rounding up the show. Thank you. Let's see here. Uh-oh, I made a mistake again. All right, everybody, welcome. That was a good conversation. I believe that a lot of people would have learned a lot from that conversation. But I have to make sure that I round up properly so that we make sure that we get the most out of this conversation. Okay. Now, there's a method to my madness here. If it looks like madness, I'm sorry. There's a method to it. Can you guys hear me clearly? Let's round up in 3 minutes. There's a method to my madness here. I don't use common sense base. I do have common sense. I also think you have common sense. I also think most people that end up in divorce court, they all maybe they don't all have common sense, but they all will claim they have common sense. So we need a little bit more beyond just common sense. Okay, this is my life work. This is stuff that I study in and out every day. I've got tons of clients that I need to take care of, so I can't just wink things out of common sense. Okay? I can't just wing things out of common sense. There's because if common sense worked, it would be working for everybody. And unfortunately, we have up to 75% of marriages in funky situations, in situations where they're just managing things along. So, what we're very specific about this topic today. Okay, keeping malice should not be tolerated. When I say should not be tolerated, it doesn't mean you just run from your marriage. It means it needs to be addressed with immediate effect. Silent treatment, I'm using that interchangeably with keeping malice today. I think it means the same thing, but malice is a more of a deeper, like, evil behavior. If a person has malice, that means they can destroy you. Okay, but silent treatment is an attempt, as admitted by Uncle Beno himself. It's an attempt. He didn't admit the word, but it's essentially to get a person to behave, to get another adult to behave. It's not an effective tactic. What ends up happening from experience and then also from handling this kind of cases is resentment. And sometimes even the woman would do exactly what Uncle Beno suggests. She would have done it for so many times. She's now resenting herself. She now hates her life because she's been the one leading. She feels like she's been the one leading the relationship all along. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Is it sustainable for the man to lead and be a king in his relationship? Absolutely. That's exactly how God built it. That's exactly who we are as people. That's why I continue to encourage it. Does that mean women can just walk around the internet and life, the same thing, and just misbehave? No. It means you're going to probably create a woman. Yes, create a woman that will actually behave. Because if she doesn't belong there, she will self-eject. Yes. There's some women that just don't belong there and they will self-eject. They will remove themselves because they won't be able to, they're toxic. Those women are toxic. They won't be able to stand it. There's a certain order here, and the order of you should just lead your relationship. Just go ahead and try to lead the relationship sometimes too. It's not effective because usually the people that are complaining about this is a repetitive event. Remember, it doesn't mean that one side is right or the other is wrong. We're not the judge. We're just giving you relationship strategies that work 100% of the time. Even within the homosexual community, there's usually somebody who is taking the lead. Okay, and they tend to take a lead. Does that mean a woman cannot come to you and apologize? Yes, when she means it. Not just because I want to play even with my husband. That playing balance or playing evil with your husband is exactly how you kill sexual polarity. We're talking about sexual relationship here now, a romantic relationship. There is something called sexual polarity, right? The same reason why men might say you're not feminine enough. The same reason why a woman will say, just be a man. Are you not a man? Same reason. Sometimes it just flows out of their mouth. They didn't even know what they said, but it's the reality. There's something called sexual polarity. There's something called masculine energy, feminine energy. It's absolutely feminine energy to try to use silent treatment as a form of communication. Okay? Because when you are the king of your own castle, you're not in a chokehold like that. You might understand when it's time to back off of a conversation, you back off temporarily. Temporarily, keyword, temporarily. It doesn't mean you're accepting nonsense. A lot of time people just hear that I'm suggesting to accept nonsense. Part of being the king is that you don't accept nonsense. Remember? Aha. But we're talking about your wife. Okay, so we're talking about your wife and the communication is getting too hard or too harsh. Maybe you should give yourself some patience. Maybe you lack the ability to actively listen without a need to have an answer right now. Right? Maybe you're disconnected from your own soft life. Maybe you're confused between masculinity and soft life. You two gentlemen have been saying that forever here. You deserve soft life. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Now, this case of silent treatment is a matter of foresight. Can you see that far where it can actually destroy your relationship? Or you're just stuck in what it feels like right now. Correct, and that's all I need to do. Correct and correction, so it be. All right. So actually, this topic is actually very unisex in nature. If a woman also tends to use silent treatment, that's abuse. Eventually, that man is not going to be able to tolerate that. Or he will go and seek the emotional centeredness he needs from other places. Potentially other women. Potentially have a side chick for 5 years and call it I'm a player. He's not a player. There's some kind of emotional need that's been taken care of. Does it make it right? No. Will human beings do things like that when it feels right? Yes. Yes, they will. I'm sorry. Okay. So again, I can go ahead and tell you, y'all both should love each other. I can go ahead and tell you all of that. You can read a lot, and even if you ask ChatGPT right now, it will tell you all of those things, right? You should love each other, meet each other's needs, and all that kind of stuff. You know these things, but you still end up inside of poto. I'm not gonna be the first to tell you that you should love each other. I think you already know that, and that knowledge is not working. So what's gonna work? First step, yourself. You know yourself. Know yourself. Take some time off to get to know yourself. Take some time off. It doesn't matter what side you belong. You could be the victim or the abuser in this case of silent treatment. It doesn't matter. If you are the first to understand that there's something wrong and it doesn't feel right, take some time to know yourself. No, I will not be tendering random apologies just because you want to tender a balanced apology. No. Okay? No. Apologies, for the most part, they actually destroy, especially if you have a tendency to run towards apology to patch issues. A lot of couples are doing that. They run towards apology. They think apology is going to fix the issue. No, if the underlying issue is still there, your apology will end up straight in the poto. If you authentically feel like you've done something wrong, then obviously I shouldn't have to teach you to apologize. But apologize just for peace of mind and you know that it doesn't feel right? No, you need to address the actual issue first. Okay? Then you might even find that apology is not necessary. It might just be understanding that needed to be reached. Okay? Now, shut down is not the same thing as silent treatment. Shut down is a response. It's a response. You respond by shutting down. There are certain personalities like that. That's how they like it. They need space. They need time off. That's okay. That's okay. That's not what we were discussing today. We were discussing silent treatment. Silent treatment is precisely what we covered earlier on. The silent treatment is in a marriage, particularly in a marriage, is when one spouse withdraws communication and affection as a form of punishment or to express anger, right? Intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes it might be unintentional. It still doesn't make it healthy. It's just the whole point of this discussion is awareness, particularly self-awareness. This is not the platform you can help you blame the other side. I've told you that numerous times, okay? What you're going to do here is you're going to learn how to conduct yourself so you can attract better behavior. Attraction is key in all of this. Not common sense, find a balanced conversation. Other platforms will discuss that. You guys can take care of each other in that respect. Okay? We're not talking about being a good guy here, as always. We're not talking about, listen, majority of the guys that I've actually noticed personally that are perpetuating this behavior are not cheaters. They are literally in the house. Just shut down. Just shut down against their wives. They're not going anywhere to cheat. No, we're talking about actual emotional abuse. We're not talking about they want to cheat on a person. For the most part, my experience, because I don't know everybody in the world, it's not about they want to go and cheat or anything like that. That has nothing to do with this. We're talking about situations where they're actually Like he might even be washing pata, but he doesn't know that this is a bad behavior. He can't get his way around having communication with his wife. The wife is assertive, a little difficult, maybe a lot of difficult, right? And his method, instead of to seek help, is to shut down. Not just shut down. Silent treatment, extended. So shutdown leading to silent treatment. Remember in the beginning, I talked about shutdown leading to awkward energy and then long term, right? I'll tell you what's going to happen eventually. Even if you're a woman doing it, that person is going to find that peace of mind somewhere else. Because I'll tell you, silent treatment is not peaceful. It might seem silent, it's not peaceful. Okay? It's not peaceful. So I'll tell you, it does matter if a man shuts down. That's a big deal. Okay? If he tends to shut down, especially extending out to silent treatment, that is a big deal. And that's something you should take seriously. Okay? Don't wait until you start to entertain conversations with other men, ladies, because men that shut down, one thing they don't understand is that there are men that have the game to understand that they are doing that and they are using that advantage to take over their territory. I know. I'm not just saying that to fearmonger. This is happening real life. This is happening real life. Women that would generally not behave that way, but they found themselves, they fell on Ebola. It's your worst nightmare. Is happening out there right now as we speak. Because silent treatment, keeping malice in the household. Is the woman wrong?
You're right.
Before uncle.
You are a mumu man.
Before. What do you expect? Of course she's wrong. But yeah, wrong breeds wrong. Two wrongs don't make it right. She's wrong. She should not do that. I know.
You think say they're wise?
But your family is now in the poto. Unfortunately, sometimes children are involved. Get it together. So here's my tip for you. Here's my last my tip for you. Okay, if you're a man and you've yielded to this method and you thought it was working, it's not working. She has a ton of resentments. You'll pay a big price for that if you don't check that immediately. If you've been using this and you think it's working for you, it's not working for you. Okay, it's not working for you. Okay. If you're you need to seek help. Okay. If you're having difficult time, because again, it seems like it's stemming from communication breakdown. You found your wife to be disrespectful, seek help. There are people that study this and they know this and this is what they do. Seek help. Okay? If you can't afford it, talk to your pastor. Talk to an elderly person. They'll be the first to tell you like, you're not talking to your wife? What's in buyer well soon? They will tell you. They'll be the first to tell you. If you're a woman and you're experiencing being on the receiving end of silent treatment, same thing, seek help. Because again, the goal of this is to tell you that it's not healthy. It's not to help you blame your spouse or anything like that, because we don't do that here anyway. It's to tell you that it's not healthy if you're experiencing silent treatment as an abuser or as a victim. You need to seek help, because if you don't, it's going to destroy everything. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We're past overtime. We're like 45 minutes over. I wasn't trying to do that, but all right. We'll pay attention to tomorrow. I'll be back here tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'll be back here for 8 p.m. We're going to do 8 p.m. tomorrow. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. I wanted to do this, right? I don't want to just say seek wise counsel, okay? The reality is that, if you can pull it off, I doubt it, but if you can pull it off, this is the strategy, okay? If you are experiencing a person who shuts down, okay, and it's been a consistent behavior over time, particularly silent treatment, not just shut down for 1 day or two. Okay, silent treatment, and this is a consistent behavior over time. Okay, you need to, the idea is that you need to take some time off, let them, you need to allow them to take care of themselves. They need the time off. Okay, and what you've been doing is you're probably running back to apologize or begging for sex within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you resent it because you're probably not going to enjoy the sex anyway. You will resent all of that because you will hate yourself. You basically hate that you're doing that. You need to take a little bit longer. Let them express it. Once they are caught, what ends up happening is they try to come around. They try to come around because nobody goes that long, okay? Unless they're really, really a psychopath and they're sick. They do go for a while. They might not come outright and tell you, I'm ready to be friends again, but they might be like using style and stuff like that. Once they do that, you say, we need help. You say, we need help. We should address this. We should address this with a professional, okay? But the problem is that you probably can't wait that long because body no be firewood. Because at some point too, your body they ginger you and want to do something, right? So you need support. This is it's an extremely difficult process to go through. So you need support. But if you can pull it off, that's the method right there. If you have been the person who has been using this as a strategy, I guarantee you, like I said, it's not working for you. Somebody is probably already smashing your wife. Yeah. Okay, maybe not that deep. Sometimes that deep. Pay attention, okay? It's not a strategy. Learn communication strategies, okay? If you're having a difficult conversation and the person seems like it's the high road or the highway, nobody's like that. You only see that way because you don't have the communication skills, right? Everybody cares about something. You need to engage what they care about and then approach your conversation from that standpoint. You call it appeasing. It's not appeasing. It's actually called seduction. Okay, it's called influence. It's called the skills of influence. You understand that this person is coming from a place, from a standpoint, and you take your time. You're not in a rush because you have patience with yourself. You take your time to understand where they're coming from, and then you sell them. You learn the skills of selling. You sell them what you're trying. You might have a better idea. You sell them. You understand that we're always selling. We're always selling. Okay, but some people suck at selling. So what they do, they try to use Iboju. They work instead of romantic relationship. It did not work when you met that person. That person was comfortable when you met them. You woo them, or they woo you. Everybody was comfortable. So don't expect it to work 20 years later. If anything, you're just building resentments. Just wanted to. That's a lot there. Thank you. Let's see. Chidima MOP, I like how you ejected women withholding sex into this conversation. It is equally wrong and manipulative. It's wrong. But when a man is complaining it to me, just like I just told women today, right? Women, if you're complaining about a person who shuts down and is doing silent treatment, you need to do something about that. The same way I tell men, your woman is shutting down you, she doesn't want sex. Something else is going on. It's manipulative. You can call it any name you like it, right? Abusive, that's how you feel. A man who is going through sexless marriage feels abused. That makes sense, right? But we don't stop at calling the names. We solve the problem, right? First step to solving the problem is to acknowledge, like, hey, she clearly doesn't want sex with me. Why is it that my wife don't want sex with me? That's the first question that needs to be answered. Oh, maybe the conversations, maybe what do you want to do about it exactly? Yeah. So, if a woman feels her husband isn't listening and providing or whatever she needs and she starts withholding sex, absolutely. But most women don't do that. What women do that looks like withholding sex is they don't feel like having sex. They don't feel connection. Right? And when a man sees it as withholding sex, it actually gets worse for him. The blue balls could get bluer. Right? Because he tried to approach it like it's a duty. Just have sex with me. And that actually works against him. Right? So how we interpret these problems actually affect the type of solution we provide. Right? If you think it's a duty and she should do what she's supposed to do and not be manipulative, you approach it as let's scold her into correction. And it doesn't work. It just works against everybody. Right? Most men, normal men at least, they can't just have sex with a log of wood. They want you to be engaged. Right? But but also the way they address is like they just want you to just have it. But once you're done with it, oju awale, and you like, that's not what I wanted, right? Because we're talking about sex, not house chores. So the conversation is slightly different, but yes, it belongs in the same box. It should be acknowledged that if it's abuse, as far as how a man feels, right? But again, we're talking about sexual polarity. He needs to pay attention to what else has been going on. Sexual polarity, not common sense, not you must do the right thing. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. All of it is wrong. So you can't approach it with that right or wrong attitude. Please like the show. What should she do about it? Which one? Do about what? What she should do about what? Specific? What she should do is seek help. She needs help. If you're complaining, you need help. Man or woman. If you're complaining, you need help. You need support. You clearly don't know what you're doing. Right? And no, don't take the position of leading the relationship if you feel like that's not, especially if that has not worked. It's probably not going to work. It's going to get worse. You're going to feel more resentment. And then you're going to withhold sex from him. You don't want to have sex with a man who is abusive. Most women don't. Never mind the vows. Some of your mothers stopped having sex a long time ago. They just don't say it out loud in public. Okay. I said if a woman notices her husband is giving cold treatment, she should do something about it. She needs to seek help. I said it. Seek help. Seek help. Seek help. Don't try to lead him. Don't try to go out. You will get more resentment. Don't try to lead him in the conversation. Okay. If he comes to you, he wants to have a conversation, of course, you should be open to that. You should always be open. If you want to go and approach the conversation, as long as you are able, there's a certain skill set. There's a way a woman will actually get his man to do certain things that he wants to do. But when you have resentment, you're not capable of doing that. Do you get it? You need support. So if you have friends that can support you, you can do it. If you're that strong of a human being, there might be an anomaly out there, sure. Do what you have to do. But the point is that when you're about to have that conversation, he better be feeling like a leader in that conversation. If you have that conversation and he feels less than by any house, remember, he's going to mix that up with his feminine energy. It's chaotic. Will it work? It's not going to work. If you have the skill set of having a conversation with your husband where he feels like the leader, yeah, some people call it stroking the ego. The stroking the ego thing does not work if you have resentments. Okay? It will backfire. Make sure you have the help that you need. Usually what that looks like is you're going to do some work on yourself. You're going to leave space. Allow this. He needs space. Give him the space. Guess what? You need the space. You just haven't realized yet. You've lost yourself in that situation. You need the space too. And it's going to be a difficult journey, but it's worth it. It's worth it. But jumping into it because he's just being friendly, when it's a repeated behavior, it's going to get worse and worse. Okay? Guaranteed. All right. So that's exactly what you should do about it. But if I were you, I would just seek wise counsel because you're a human being like the rest of us. I seek wise counsel when I'm confused. So why shouldn't you? Does that make sense? All right, good. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one and peace.
Hi, I'm Lola.
And this is Ola from Man of Prestige.
Did you know that nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce?
Studies also show that children raised in two-parent households tend to thrive.
If you're struggling in a broken relationship or marriage, you're not alone in facing these challenges.
But having a solid support system is crucial. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.